Good evening, everybody. Oh my god, it was a long day. So, without further ado, very, very happy to see you as always. There's a lot of countries joining us tonight: Finland, Spain, Sweden, Germany, United States, and Canada, and the UK, and the whole world basically, except for maybe North Korea. Uh, Not sure if they have access to YouTube. I don't care. Okay, so it was quite a day. It started early. It started a couple hours after our past midnight stream with the Shields, and at 6:23 in the morning we had our first air alert. Massive wave of drones approaching Kiev and other regions. Basically, we had big alert over majority of Ukrainian regions, and there are casualties around Ukraine, unfortunately, since the morning strike. But specifically as for Kiev, we have information that not three but four civilian people died, and among them was a married couple that was expecting a kid. The girl was 6 months pregnant, and unfortunately she died together with her husband and the kid. So today our anti-air defense, and not only anti-air defense, but basically all the people, and I'm talking about policemen, national guardsmen, military or army guys, everybody who had AK could join hunting those Iranian drones. They're called Shahed 136. Here in Ukraine we call them moped because they make the same sound as a bicycle, and or a lawnmower. And we have a crazy video of Ukrainian patrol policeman shooting down drone. Let me see if you can hear the sound well, because for some reason that I don't understand yet, sometimes the sound gets it starts stuttering or replaying, but let's see if you will hear it well. Ukrainian cops are absolutely crazy and badass. I remember, the first days of this invasion, first weeks, when everybody here in Kiev was expecting this invasion, and basically we were all prepared to take combat in Kiev, and our patrol police officers were just walking around armed with RPGs, Molotov cocktails, machine guns, and stuff like that. Our cops are badass. That's the word. And another strike continued tonight. So this evening, Bobby, yes, they were firing at the drones. It's kind of dangerous again because drones carry a lot of explosives, and those Shahed drones carry between 20 and 40 kilograms of explosives. That's around 80 pounds. And when those drones fall down, they still can explode, and it's kind of dangerous, not only for people who try to shoot those drones, but also for people in residential areas and whatever. But we gotta shoot them down anyways, because they will strike their targets, and who knows what kind of targets are there. Those could be just residential buildings like we saw last week. Those can be some objects of critical infrastructure. It's very important to stop them while they are approaching their targets. And another my dad is watching this stream, and he just sent me the message saying that I look thin, I lost weight. It's not true, because I cannot lose weight anymore. Okay, we have stop messaging me, please. Just a second here. So we have another video of tonight's attack, and again, I'm sorry if sound is not gonna play well for you guys, but this is how it looked like in the area of Boryspil tonight. It was pretty intense. So our anti-air defense guys used anti-air cannons, ZU-23-2, and some other ones. And of course, they used anti-air missiles, different types of them, like manpads, like radar-guided. And I don't have information about casualties as of this moment. Let me check. Yeah, so the alert finished just 10 minutes ago, and we don't have information regarding the casualties because our anti-air defense was working like crazy tonight. Everybody tried to shoot down those drones, and everybody was celebrating when those drones were shot down, both civilians and our anti-air boys and policemen and everybody. So I can say that this attack that was planned tonight by orcs, probably it wasn't successful. We had a lot of reports that there were explosions in different regions, because tonight specifically Russians targeted Kiev from different directions. Those drones were approaching Kiev both from north, south, and east. but those explosions turned out to be just launches performed by our anti-air defense. Okay, so let's move on. And by the way, the reason why they were attacking Kiev today is basically this infographics made by our statistical department, and basically I will try to translate it for you. This is results of Ukrainian strikes performed during last week, and since between 10th and 16th of October, and during this time we managed to destroy 18 ammunition storages that belonged to Russian Federation. Basically, you can see the map when it happened. We also destroyed 7 Russian bases and 2 objects of military infrastructure. So those strikes were pretty much successful, and it was a successful week for our army. And today I noticed some very, very interesting news regarding Russian ex-president Medvedev. Currently, he's a deputy chief of their security committee. Security committee of Russia. And basically it's the same person who always says that, Russia should kill everybody and Russia should use nuclear weapons. I mean, just a typical deputy chief of security. And he said that, sorry, it's a wrong picture. Here, this is the right one. So he said that if Israel sends weapons to Ukraine, it will destroy their ties and their friendship with Russia. And why he said that was because today Minister of Diaspora Affairs of Israel said that because of this agreement with Iran, now it's obvious like who is who, okay? Who plays for good guys, who plays for bad guys. And they said that it's finally time to help Ukraine to fight evil. Why? What was the main reason for Israeli minister to say that? It's because Russia trades with Iran. It means that Iran, the country that before Russian invasion was the most sanctioned country in the world, now it's Russia basically, you couldn't trade with Iran, and in terms of different strategical resources and electronics and stuff, it was forbidden. Because even though Iran is not so sly as Russia, they're not so cunning probably, but they are, they are, but not as much as orcs. But they were smart enough to use all kinds of stuff they could buy through AliExpress in order to build some pretty much sophisticated weapons, like those drones. Those drones are basically equipped with Rotax engines that are usually used to build ultralight airplanes and stuff like that, civilian airplanes. they use a lot of electronics that don't have that are not military graded. So they were smart enough to create this industry and build sophisticated weapons. Russians couldn't do that because they're freaking stupid, even though they're cunning and sly. So, but they have money, and money is the reason number one why why Israel is so freaking angry about that, because by trading with Iran, and I also have to mention Russian aviation technologies that they obviously passed to their Iranian friends, because Iran has a lot of aviation, but it's pretty old, and they require new technologies to build new airplanes to fight against Israel. So that's basically the reason, because by trading with Iran today, Russia contributes to killing Jewish people tomorrow. And that's why Iran is so angry. And you don't F with Iran, it always ends bad. I mean, with Israel, it always ends bad. You don't F with Israel, and you don't F with Ukrainians. And when those two work together, it's gonna end bad. So that's the reason. Let's return to our little friend here. Another good news, and I enjoyed those news of today, is that karma, of course, works. And today in Russia, a bomber went kamikaze on a Russian building in city of Yeisk. Oh my god, who makes those freaking names? Yeisk, Sызрань. Oh my god. Oh, anyways. So Yeisk was screwed because Russian pilot, instead of turning his airplane into a deserted area, decided to save his life and eject, and his airplane successfully went kamikaze on a Russian multi-story building. Here we can see how it happened. So this is how it looked like after this impact. According to our information, like this house was partially derussified. Here we can see it from another perspective. So there's a lot of smoke, and because this airplane was full of ammunition and bombs and shells for his his air cannon and stuff, there was quite a firework. And here we can see how it happened. Pay attention to the top of the screen. There you can see that small little dot flying towards those buildings, and basically this bomber malfunctioned and it went straight into the building. So the guy ejected like a second before the impact, and you can see a firework glorifying independent Ukraine. We don't know precise number of casualties. We know that according to Russian media that always lie, there's 2 civilians dead, which means that there can be 20 casualties, 20 dead people. According to other information, there's like 10 civilians died because of this explosion. But I don't care. Today, the Red Cross was supposed to visit Ukrainian POWs held by Russian troops in the area of Olenivka. And that's the story. The guys that were released from captivity reported that they never ever saw representatives of the Red Cross. Meanwhile, the Red Cross mission in Ukraine says that there are 11 Red Cross representatives that are ready to go and visit any place on the front line right now. 3 days ago, I think our president and our authorities told those guys in Red Cross, they said, Red Cross, there's this prison in Olenivka where our POWs are tortured and they don't receive proper treatment. So please, would you like to visit them finally? And today, the Red Cross was expected basically by our members of parliament and counselors of president and ministers, so they would help them to go and see our POWs, but the Red Cross never showed up. Basically, what the Red Cross does is, calling for peace, which doesn't work, unfortunately. But there's still good news, because today 108 female POWs that were captured and held by Russian fascists were exchanged and released. So among those POWs, there were soldiers of the armed forces of Ukraine, there were police service women, there were national guardians, there were also women that were captured in Azovstal, and they were released today. Thank God everything went well and they returned home, which I think is completely amazing. Meanwhile, in liberated Svyatogorsk, and Svyatogorsk is a big church complex. Let me show you just what it means to our Orthodox people. So, Svyatogirska Lavra. So, this is Svyatogirska Lavra, basically. Here it is. The word Lavra means big complex of churches and barracks where monks and other holy people lived. And in Ukraine, we have a bunch of those. We have one in Svyatogorsk, we have one in Kiev, is the biggest one, basically, and we have one in Pachayev. And those are the places where all the believers, Orthodox people, used to go. They used to visit those places. There were a lot of pilgrims and stuff. So monastery. Yeah. So this monastery was captured by Russians. They were there for quite a while. And today, our security service of Ukraine shared some footage from this place. So Russians equipped a torture chamber in Svyatogorsk. And here we can see one of such torture rooms. To me, it looks absolutely disgusting. Here we can see the chair with the rope. They used to tie people to that chair and torture them. Here we can see wires. Obviously, they were used to maybe tie down people. Maybe they were used to torture them with electricity. That's gas mask. Basically, it's a broadly used torture method. They put this gas mask on a person. They block the air intake, making that person suffocate. A leather belt that is always used to spank people and stuff like that. And yeah, well, basically that's how it looked like. Because there's this metal radiator, I assume that they used those wires to electroshock people, probably. There were also syringes found and stuff like that. What can I say? I mean, Russia tops the rating of the most atrocious, not only armies, but like people in general, I would say. Because you are not born a soldier. First, you are born as a civilian person, and then you join the army. Let's return to some other news. Today I stumbled upon this news article posted at The Guardian. Russia-Ukraine war live. Several blasts hit central Kiev. Conflict has pushed 4 million children into poverty, says the UN. And I would continue this sentence. I would say conflict has pushed 4 million children into poverty, says UN, which still cannot do a shit about it because the terrorist country is obviously one of the Security Council members, and it's vetoing everything. It makes me so mad because in 1992, Ukraine, which was only 1 year old, I'm talking about independent Ukraine, as we know it, right? 1 year after acquiring its independence, Ukraine was already participating in peacekeeping missions all around the world. In very tough places like the countries of former Yugoslavia, Ukrainian peacekeepers were bringing humanitarian convoys into Bosnian towns that were blocked by Serbian Chetniks and, of course, Russian volunteers that arrived to those to the area of the former Yugoslavia to support Serbs, and there were two groups of Russian volunteers called RDO-1, RDO-2, which means Русский добровольческий отряд, or Russian volunteer group. And then Ukraine participated in other peacekeeping operations in Africa, in Sierra Leone. We also participated in peacekeeping missions in Iraq, in Afghanistan, where our specialists were organizing demining. Hello from Sarajevo. Hello. So they were organizing demining of the area because we didn't take part in combat operations, but we cleaned a lot of mines and explosive devices. So our peacekeepers were out there for decades helping the United Nations. And today, the United Nations cannot send their peacekeepers into Ukraine. I think that this organization called United Nations must be renamed to just nations, in my personal opinion. They are just nations where everybody just thinks about themselves and they don't do shit. That's why it makes me very mad. But we also have some good news from the front lines. So there was a video from Bakhmut. Actually, I have it, but I'm not sure if you want to see it because there's a lot of good Russians on this video. So there might be problems, but basically our guys sent us a video of eliminating a bunch of Kadyrovites and Russians. I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna show you this awesome video from the I think the Donetsk region. No, I think it's from Kherson region. So this dude turns out to be the deputy commander of a Russian Marine unit, which means like he's a tough dude. Okay, so here we can see this Marine doing something with his weapons. There was like an empty magazine and stuff, and just in a while he is captured. And he says basically that, my dear comrades, don't go to war in Ukraine because it's bad, because, we kill our friends, people die on both sides. Don't go here, don't listen to Russian propaganda, it's very, very bad. And following the requests of our viewers, this is the video from Bakhmut. There's a bunch of Kadyrovites as well as other Russian soldiers. Our soldier here explains that Kadyrovites are only good at making TikTok videos. Probably he's like a captain. Captain Obvious, because we all know what they're good at. And basically that's it. Yeah, so he says that this plate this plate carrier contains no plate. That's why that hole that you see in that plate carrier, basically there's the same hole in that Kadyrovite's stomach. And there's some exciting news from Ukroboronprom, which here in Ukraine we call Ukroboron porn, because they do crazy things. And we all love this organization, so they announced development and further production of, to me it looks like a huge warhead. So according to Ukroboron porn, and they don't tell much about it, they only said that this stuff will have a range of 1,000 kilometers, which is around 6 or 700 miles, and it will carry 75 kilograms of explosives, which is basically 130 something pounds of explosives. And yeah, and they basically said we're not talking much about it because there's a purpose to it. And they said that this thing was in development since the beginning of this invasion. So even if we are not given long-range missiles, which again, guys, maybe I'm wrong, but Ukrainian cities are being freaking hit by Russian long-range missiles, specifically civilians, because we all know that Russians don't care. They want to kill Ukrainians. That's their purpose on this planet, killing Ukrainians and other civilized nations, okay? But still there are people who think but you cannot return fire. No, don't make Russia angry. Holy freaking shit. You guys, forget about not making Russia angry. We gotta freaking destroy this regime. I honestly think so. And I'm glad that majority of civilized people, maybe not politicians, but people that leave me commentaries, people whom I read, I'm glad that they agree with me. As for the Iron Dome, Sean Starkey says about Iron Dome, I'm not sure if it's a good idea, because Iron Dome in Israel, it has only one purpose, basically. So the terrorists that shoot at Israel Okay, we have another alert. Anyways, the terrorists that shoot at Israel, they use Russian-built and Russian-provided unguided rockets, basically rockets for this BM-21 Grad. And they are not aimed at anything. They just fly in a general direction of Israel. So Iron Dome is specifically made to intercept those rockets. It's not made to intercept ballistic missiles like those that Iran wants to sell to Russia. There are other specific systems developed by Israeli military. I think one is called Sling of David, something like that. I can be wrong. But there are different systems. Iron Dome is specifically made for this purpose. It effectively stops those unguided rockets. So that's the news. Will Israel give you long-range missiles? I hope so. It would be great, unless it ruins friendship with Russia. Oh my God, Russians are so ridiculous. This Medvedev, he's like, you want to ruin friendship with us only because our trade supports killing of Israelis. I don't understand this. Like, again, you don't F with Israel because it's not gonna destroy friendship with Russia. It's gonna destroy his freaking ass. I'm telling you. And if Israel is serious about about their intention to support Ukraine, I will start believing that Putin might be assassinated. Seriously. Okay. So I think that I probably have like, wait a second, let me check the map of our alerts. Okay, where it is. So we have this specific website called alerts. Oh my God, alert. Oh my God. Alerts in UA. And here you can see the map of air alerts. Currently, there's alert over Kyiv region and specifically Kyiv city. There's alert over southern part, which is Odessa, Mykolaiv, and Kherson. And also, it seems that Dnipro is being targeted as well. Let me check. Let me check our sources. So we have information that there is a threat of drone attack, kamikaze drone attack at this point. Oh my God, I'm reading. I have a story of that married couple that died today. So she looks familiar, by the way. She looks familiar. So this is the woman who died today in this drone attack. Her name was Victoria, and her husband's name was Bogdan, and they were dreaming about a kid, and she was 6 months pregnant. And her last thing that she wrote in her social media was, "We don't know what will be tomorrow." So she worked as a sommelier in a store called Good Wine. It's where you can buy some nice wines in Kyiv. And she always used to say that you always gotta be strong. And I agree with her. Okay, guys, I think that this uh, stream is gonna be a bit short because, uh, as I said, I got those keys for our shelter, and I gotta make sure that people can get inside. Um, which anti-air defense systems seem to work best against those Iran kamikaze drones? Uh, is basically like manpads, like Stingers or Igla anti-air missiles. Um, for body armor, what do you prefer? Steel, ceramic, or Kevlar? Kevlar will not stop 7.62 or 5.45. It can probably stop smaller fragments, but not bullets shot from rifles. Rifles are powerful, and that's why we prefer either steel or ceramics. Ceramics are, of course, better because they're lightweight, but in case they break, you have to replace the fragments of the plate, because the plate consists of, like ceramic cells usually, and in case one of those cells gets damaged by a bullet, you have to replace it, while the metallic plate you can use as much as you wish. Okay, guys, I gotta say goodbye, and see you later. Janine says that I gotta go, and I can always continue this stream. We'll see you later, guys. Thank you so much for staying with us, and be strong. Remember that. We gotta always be strong. My name is Operator Starsky. Thanks for watching.